Hey everyone, it's Sarah, and today I am back with part one of my winter perfumes video. So I've got 10 fragrances here, and these are all fragrances that for the most part I only wear in really like deep, dark, cold winter days. Like it has to be pretty cold to wear these. The first one I will wear pretty much any time of year though. The first one I'm going to talk about, I will wear this. I've even worn it in the heat and it's fine, but my favorite time to wear this fragrance is in the winter time because I just feel like the depth of the fragrance, you really get, what am I trying to say? You can really smell the depth of this fragrance in the winter time, and that is Dior Addict. I love this. I've had days in the summertime where I've just been craving this fragrance, and so I've worn it in the dead of the heat, but you don't get the depth of it when you do that. It holds up in the heat, but this one really blooms in cold weather. This one is so beautiful. It's funny because I've always known that there was tonka, even in this reformulated version. I can't find it in the notes list on any website, but somebody did comment last time and say that if you look at the ingredients on the Dior website, they do have coumarin listed in the ingredients. So I don't know why they don't just list tonka or even coumarin in the notes. But it definitely does have tonka in it. You can smell it. I always knew it did. You can smell the tonka in this. It's so beautiful. I love this fragrance so much because it's a tonka. It's like a sweet, deep tonka scent that doesn't lean masculine. And I love that because I love tonka so much. I just don't love it when it ends up smelling really masculine on me. So I love it when I find a really tonka heavy scent that doesn't lean masculine. And this is definitely that. I love this perfume. This is jasmine and vanilla and tonka. It's so warm and cozy and comforting, and again, really just blooms in the cold weather. I love any formulation of this that you give me. I have 3 bottles. I have this one, which is a new formulation. It's an old bottle of a new formulation. I've only got a little bit left in this. I bought this as a partial bottle. It was like halfway full when I bought this some years ago. I think it smells incredible. I know there are people out there that complain that say that it's not the same. They don't like it as much as the original 2002 formulation. I don't think that it has the depth that the 2002 formulation has, but I don't think that Dior butchered this one. I do still think it's beautiful. At first, I thought maybe it's because even my new formulation is so old that it's gotten very concentrated, which I do think is part of it, but I do have a brand new bottle that FragranceNet sent over not even 6 months ago that I tested, and I do need to pull that one out and test it now that it's in the winter time though, which I'll do. But I still think it's beautiful. I love it. I'll take any formulation of this fragrance that you give me and I will be happy with it. I love Addict. So anyways, that is Dior Addict. Okay, this next one, this is a genre fragrance. For a long time, I thought that this was an original formulation, but it's not. This is a dupe of something. I just can't remember what it's a dupe of. It's some kind of a niche fragrance. Anyways, this is a fragrance called Plum Dum. This is such a strong and heavy fragrance. This used to really smell like plum wine. My friend Jacqueline, she actually picked up a bottle before me and she was like, it smells just like plum wine. And it definitely does, but there's something, this has got a really beautiful, rich wood in it. It's also got something else. This has so much fragrance oil in it, or like, yeah, fragrance oil in it that I can actually see. I can actually see the fragrance in the bottle. So this has got a really high percentage of like fragrance in it. But anyways, this is really beautiful. It's a plum fragrance, but it's like a woody plum, but it's not, the woods aren't super overpowering. This is a fragrance that I can only wear in the dead of the winter time. It's way too heavy to wear even in the fall because it's just too warm around here in the fall. But yeah, this will choke you out in warm weather. It's a very heavy fragrance, really beautiful. This one is definitely unisex. I think this would be beautiful on a man. It's beautiful on me. It's not so masculine leaning that I feel uncomfortable wearing it, but it's definitely just a beautiful heavy scent. So anyways, that is Plum Dum from Genre. I just realized I didn't include any incense fragrances in this first batch, but you'll see my incense fragrances in the next in part 2. Okay, I've got a couple of Lancome fragrances here that I will wear these in the fall, but my favorite time of year to wear these is definitely in the very cold weather. The first one is Oud Bouquet. I do have this bottle, which is the original formulation. I also have a bottle of the new formulation. This is such a stunning scent. This does best in the winter time because this is such a sweet, heavy rose and oud scent. It's really sweet because it's got a lot of it's got a lot of praline in it. I think this one's got a little bit of saffron in it. This is one that you're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. I think that this is a super wearable, like Middle Eastern style fragrance. I do think that this one does best in really cold weather. Now, I do think that I wore this once this past fall, but we start getting cold weather pretty early here this year. So I did already get aware of this one in, but I typically like to wait until it gets really, really cold for this one. So that is Oud Bouquet. And then the other one that I really love in the cold weather is Lavandes Trianon. Oh my gosh, this just smells like winter in a bottle to me. And I think it's because I got this one in the winter time. And I was so obsessed with it after I got it. I wore it to bed every night for I don't know, months. And you can see you only need one spray of this thing because it is so incredibly strong and powerful. I don't even have a dent in this. Well, I've got a little dent, but that's a pretty tiny dent for as much as I've worn this. You only need 1 or 2 sprays of it. It's so, so strong. This really is such a heavy perfume. It's really, really heavy lavender and a really heavy vanilla. It's like a heavy crystallized vanilla scent. I think that there's 3 different types of lavender in this. This isn't a typical lavender fragrance. It's a really, really rich, heavy lavender fragrance. Charlotte actually hates this one. She thinks it smells like skincare. That's how rich it is. Anyways, yeah, and this one does best in winter because it's so heavy. So anyways, that is Lancome Lavandes Trianon. Okay, this next one, I only wear this one in winter. It's really the only time of year it can be worn because it's such a heavy spiced vanilla. This is from Bellayered and this is called Lene. This is a clone of Nishane Ani. This is my favorite version of this because this is my favorite version of this fragrance. I have smelled the original. I have the Dior dupe as well. This one is the best one because this one has a sweetness that the other ones don't have. The other ones are too spicy, and they lean a little bit masculine because of it. This one is perfect because it is heavy and it is spicy, but it's got this really beautiful sweetness to the vanilla that I really love. So yeah, this is definitely my favorite version of this scent, but this is very heavy. It's a very heavy spiced vanilla scent that I can only wear in the winter time. I really can't wear it any other time of year. You could maybe get away with this in the fall, but this is definitely meant for deep, dark winter days. So anyways, that is Bellayered Lene. Okay, next we have a juicy scent, and though I will wear this one in the fall sometimes, I actually prefer this one in the winter. This is Juicy, Viva La Juicy Gold Couture. This one is actually nicest in the winter time. This one gets a little bit sickening if there's any heat in the air at all. This one does best in really cold weather. You get a lot of the florals that you get with Viva La Juicy in the cold weather with this one. If there's any heat in the air, you kind of get this really yucky synthetic caramel note that isn't yucky or synthetic smelling in cold weather, if that makes sense. It's really, really nice. I like this one in the cold. I like this one in the wintertime the best. I would never wear this in hot weather. I know that there are some people that wear this one year round. I couldn't do it personally, but I'm sure it smells beautiful on people that do wear it year round. But I prefer it in the winter time. I think it smells best in the winter, and yeah, I really like this one. I always pick this up. I find these 1/2 ounce bottles at TJ Maxx usually, and that's when I pick them up. I've been through a couple of these little bottles of this. Same with the just original Juicy Couture. Anytime I find the little 1/2 ounce bottles like this, I grab them because they're like $12.99. And so yeah, I grab them and then just work through them. So anyways, that is Viva La Juicy Gold Couture. Okay, this next one, this is a really beautiful, this is actually a men's scent. This is the Duo version of Dior Homme Intense, the original formulation. This is Duo Intense Homme. That's another thing, I love that about Duo, that they get the original formulations and clone the original formulations rather than the new formulations. This is a really, really beautiful iris scent, but this is kind of like a masculine leaning iris, as much as iris can be masculine leaning. It's got a little bit of a sweetness to it, but not much. It is a powdery iris, but again, without smelling too powdery or overly feminine. It's really, really beautiful. I love this. I think this would smell amazing on a man. I really like it on me. It's not too masculine. I did buy my bottle secondhand. You can see this. So yeah, just a perfect one for winter time. I really love it in the winter. Okay, I've got a couple of my different company fragrances that these can only be worn in the wintertime, both of them. They're both way too rich for the summertime. The first one, this one is called Unui Magnetique, or All Night Long. This is like a perfumey, it's kind of like a perfumey, boozy floral. It's got ginger and jasmine and rose and patchouli. It's got something really bright and citrusy in it. So it almost smells like a candied citrus floral with like a warm patchouli base. It's really, really beautiful, but this is actually like a Christmas fragrance for me. It really, really reminds me of Christmas, but it's definitely like a wintertime only fragrance. So that is Unui Magnetique, or All Night Long, from the different company. And then the second one, this one is even more only wintertime. This one is called Magnin Sin, and this is like chestnut and heliotrope and tonka and vanilla, and this also has ginger. It's not super heavy, but it's got a really, really rich, I think it's the chestnut cream. It's like a really rich, like chestnutty, I don't know. And then with the tonka is really rich in it too. It's just a very rich smelling fragrance, even though it's not super heavy. It's such a rich fragrance that if you try to wear this in the heat, it gets almost suffocating. It gets kind of sickening smelling, but it is perfection in really, really cold weather. I absolutely adore this one in the wintertime. So that one is the different company, Magnin Sin. Another one, this one, I can only wear this in really, really cold weather. I'm going to talk about both of them at the same time because it's the same fragrance. This is the Alexandria fragrance called Fade to Black, which is the clone of Kilian Back to Black. This is the most syrupy, sweet, honeyed tobacco scent I've ever smelled. It's very, very rich smelling because the honey in it is very much a honey scent. It's a very syrupy, sweet, thick, honeyed tobacco scent. It's really beautiful. It's warm and cozy and sweet and yummy, and I love this, but it can only be worn in cold weather. I have tried wearing this in the fall, and it just can't. It gets suffocating in the heat. It's too sweet, really, to have any heat in the air at all. It's got to be really, really cold for this one. For me, anyways. It's just a little bit too. It's just a little too heavy to be worn even in the fall. It makes a perfect winter scent though. It's like the perfect sweet, rich, cozy tobacco scent. So anyways, that is Alexandria Fade to Black, which is a dupe of Kilian Back to Black. And then last but not least, I have to hurry because my camera keeps saying like it's full, like my storage is full. I don't know. But anyways, this one is another Bellayered scent. This is Mia's blend. This is Joe Malone. This is Joe Malone, Myrrh, and Tonka. And this is perfect. I like this in the fall, but I really enjoy wearing this in very cold weather. This is another one that it's got a heaviness to it. It's got a richness to it. It's not overly sweet. And it's funny because the myrrh in this one isn't even that resinous. It's not like a resinous myrrh. It's more of like a sweet, smooth myrrh. But something about it, it really just needs cold weather. If you try to wear this in warmer weather, it's another one that's almost sickening smelling. This can be worn in the fall if you're like someone that's in a cold climate, like if you're up in Michigan or something where it starts getting cold, like, you know, early in the year. This would definitely work in the fall for you too. But here we usually don't even start getting super cold until like January, February. It got real cold here really early this year, but normally I can only wear this in like January, February-ish. It's my favorite time of year to wear this though, when it's just really, really cold. So anyways, that is Bellayered Mia's blend. And that is gonna be it, guys. Those are the first 10 winter fragrances that I have to share with you. I will definitely be doing a part 2 because I didn't even include any of my really dark resinous or incensey fragrances that definitely can only be worn this time of year. I do hope that you all enjoyed this. If you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up